Good day, everyone. We're here again, Anna Seahawk and Ineke.
Ineke.
Yesterday, we had a women's circle in town here in Luang Prabang, and we just wanted to share our experience about that and how it went and what we learned from it. It was my first go at sort of like a introductory plasma sharing. I don't want to call it a workshop. I want to find a different name for it. Something more sharing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting, right? I mean, why was it interesting? In general, just really to speak out, just what is fully in your daily life, in my life as well. And I took mainly part of the kind of relaxation and mantra part, and
Yes.
and you were focused on the plasma introduction part, let's say like this, because
Yeah.
we didn't know what the group of ladies would be, right? And then to sense in ourselves like what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Besides sharing the content and a certain structure to make it kind of visual and sensible as well.
Yes.
As well, like how to stay in your own core and sharing something so personal, and the kind of challenge of accepting what people ever think is okay. And that's what we met yesterday, one of the elements in this.
Yeah, it was perfect, actually. Well, yeah, it was really interesting to have that time to look back on ourselves and reflect and just sort of, that was sort of like a big part of the whole experience, actually, was okay, getting comfortable, like making the first step, showing up.
Yes.
Showing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just rolling through the process. And I loved how, I don't know if Ineke hasn't even read Circle Way, but maybe there's some others out there that are familiar with that. But the Circle Way, I love how we sort of incorporated the flow of that modality of trying to get the engagement of the group and then breaking it up into smaller pieces. So we started with like the introduction and did some chanting, and then we had like two sort of 15-minute segments of what the meat of what I wanted to share with the plasma, and then we broke it up with another mantra and some body contact, which I think is a really great to include.
Yeah, it was so nice, just because it's such a topic which for you and me is so abundant in our lives, and you don't know where people are standing, in their conditioning, and in the verses, like really like, oh yeah, like, yeah, how to say, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And then really and then to do the contact, like by the tapping, it made really the contact is like, oh yes, we are.
Yeah, it feels like everyone feels each other, and you feel like it brings some humility into the whole thing, or something like that. And really, it broke up like
and caring.
And it broke like the last bit of it broke a little bit more of the tension in the room, like, because when you come into a women's circle and you don't know the people there, there's naturally going to be like, is this a safe place? Like, you're feeling your way into the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then to have actual people, like, the tapping each other, really gentle, non-invasive, easy contact that you can have with each other.
Yeah.
And it really helped to break the energy and lighten everything up.
Yeah.
And then the second half was a lot easier, actually, than the first.
Yeah.
And then I, like, lots of things to work on, but it went really well.
Yeah,
I like the breakup, then the 2 15-minute sessions afterwards, and a nice Q&A time.
Yeah.
And then we ended with some more singing, did we?
We had some singing outside naturally.
Yeah, right. Spontaneous, room for spontaneity.
Yeah. And it's nice, right? That what is there is fine, and you kind of embrace it, whatever sounds are there, and the diversity of the people in the group, and it's really, yeah, I love like the sense of like how to stay connected with my core,
Right.
in lightness, in humor, and really like just this is me, and I really love to share this with you.
Right.
Yeah, and was a great exercise. I think because before we were kind of learned to take count of others in their feelings and thoughts, and it's actually the other way around, right?
Yes.
Because you love people anyway, but it starts really with connecting in love with your own core, whatever you do, with everything, and it was such a beautiful experience.
The breaking it up really helped to ground a lot, like you're saying, and really get in touch with yourself, and then feel like a little lighter moving forward. Talking about plasma to new people, like it's different to have a conversation and like share that, like have that recorded and share that online, but when you're face to face with people. Yeah. And they're in the room with you and you start talking about plasma, it's like different kind of feeling for me. Like I've spoken about it before in my with my close friends, but never in a situation like that where it's like. So it was interesting to go through the emotional side of it, and it was interesting who we had there, a pediatrician woman, and she was really good about shedding some light on just calling things by their name.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah. Really like just name it.
Yeah. And so we're like, okay, urine. Plasma therapy is AKA urine therapy. I mean, these terms are used like so totally interchangeably, but just for the sake of like super clarity.
Yeah.
And as a pediatrician, she really, she shared some deep passion of hers of naming our body parts and not having shame in naming our body parts. And I think that's also really...
Yeah. For her own clarity. It was actually all about clarity, right?
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And that she said, like, I have parents with examples which I don't get because they give different names to vulva, for example.
Yeah.
And I said, do you mean vulva and not little mouse or something?
Right.
Yeah. And that's with plasma, urine.
Yes.
Like it, and because of the content, what it actually is.
Yes.
It makes it what its beauty is, right?
Right.
And all these fantastic benefits.
Yeah.
And because she's actually stepped behind the conditioning of like the waste instead of like not used matter at that moment, filtered through the kidneys. So it was really actually fun. I have like a doctor, like a medically trained Western. Yeah. And she
for your first workshop.
And you check with her, like, are you fine? Like in the beginning, and she said, yes, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic.
Yeah. It was nice. I was glad that I even did that too. Like, check in with your people. Like, is everybody okay?
Yeah.
With this conversation and like checking in.
Yeah.
Before you just like ramble on, or not ramble on, but before you continue.
Yeah, you can ask people to share a word, then you kind of have an idea as well.
Yeah.
And you don't need to tackle it or something, but it's just, it is interesting. Just, I just had to stay with you, right? And share your joy.
Yeah.
So that was actually a brief reflection on this beautiful evening.
Yeah, one of many.
Yay.
And I hope to be doing some online soon stuff.
Yes.
And some fun stuff coming.
We will.
So.
We will make it happen. Love to share with you.
Staying tuned.
Yes.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks,
Ineke.
Anna.
All right. How do we... There we are. Oh.